Simpletons. We have a stunning guest star with us today. Introduce yourself, guest star.
Stop it. Only mildly stunning. I'm Amanda, and yeah.
Tell us about yourself, Amanda.
The Amanda Show, dare I say.
All about me. Let's see.
Ooh, that's going to be the title.
The Amanda Show.
The Amanda Show Part 2.
Wonderful.
Did you know they're redoing, like, everything that we grew up with as children?
Yeah.
They were doing the Amanda Show?
I would say there's a great lack of creativity currently.
In Hollywood?
Yeah.
There is. A Star is Born got nominated for everything. Guess what, everybody?
It's
that was
a
the fourth remake of that movie.
I think, like, people are just beginning to realize that nostalgia's a thing. And they're just like, wow, these millennials love being reminded of the 90s. Like, let's put Hey Arnold on a t-shirt. Let's remake A Bug's Life, but live action this time.
Are they doing a Bug's Life live action?
That
Please.
was just an example of how...
Where they just, like, put a GoPro inside one of those, like... an anthill.
But they, like, narrate it to make it interesting. Like, it's just ants living their lives, but instead they're like, Dad, why won't you support me in my passions?
Protect the queen!
Honestly, like, kind of down for that. I would maybe watch that.
Yeah, when are they going to start doing Pixar movies live action?
I don't know.
I think that defeats the purpose. Like,
It totally does.
Yeah, but I could see Disney doing it.
I mean, I think in 20 years from now, when
20?
they're really out of ideas.
I was going to say 5.
Oh, you're right.
I think it's 5.
I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. In 20 years from now, when, like, the world is ravaged for natural resources, Disney is going to be like, hey, remember The Incredibles? Well, here they are, live-action figures.
This is what the world needs now.
This is what the world needs. Real superheroes, but real. Because you've never seen that before. Cough, cough, Marvel. Cough, cough, DC, everything that you've ever seen before.
I actually hate superhero movies
Me too.
so much.
Really?
I think they're
Hot
so
take.
boring.
Hot take. I don't like superhero movies. Except for the Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, okay, I like that one. I like the Batman
Tobey Maguire.
trilogy.
Let me just... Okay, you want to hear a little something about myself?
Yes.
This will, I think, enlighten the audience as to who I am as a person. Tobey Maguire, for me, was... sexual awakening. Like,
honestly,
he was like the person where I realized, like, I like men. And it's so funny because Tobey Maguire is like not particularly macho or even desirable. Like,
that's like the Spider-Man aesthetic.
he kind of reminds me of like a wet sock personality-wise, but like something about him.
Wow, comfort Tobey Maguire.
No,
Go
but
on.
something about him was really endearing to me. Like, I was like, look at this sad boy who like can't get a sentence out. Like, he was like, Mary Jane, my aunt. Like, I loved him, and so those movies, I stand.
I treasure
love
those
Spider-Man.
movies because they're campy, but they weren't supposed to be.
Yes.
Like, I rewatched
Like anything
Spider-Man
in the early
3.
2000s.
Yeah, I rewatched Spider-Man 3 regularly because it was so
James
fucking
Franco.
I
bad.
actually have never seen that one.
Spider-Man 3 is so good.
I've seen the first one and the second one, but never the third one. I've seen all the Batman, and I love the Batman.
It's so good
The
because
ones
it's
with
such a
Christian
train wreck.
Bale.
Yes.
Sorry.
And like Heath Ledger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we love Heath Ledger.
We love him. No, I think my sexual awakening was Peter Pan, like the animated Peter Pan.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yes!
The Disney version?
Yes,
which
which
is,
is, like,
by the way, racist.
Think about all the boys that I like.
By the
and,
way,
like, the
big
the
shock.
way that Peter Pan looks.
Yes.
And like that body structure. And like
Molly
think
still
about
goes for boys who look like Peter Pan. Real talk.
I gotta say,
That's why I'm so popular in like the bisexual male community.
Nice.
so I think I had 2 sexual awakenings.
Okay.
One was I was 6 years old and my grandmother showed me Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh.
And Jessica Rabbit really taught me what sexuality was.
Yes.
Later on, I learned what drag queens were, and I was like, okay, I get it. Sexual awakening number 2, Josh Hutcherson in... do you know the movie Little Manhattan?
No.
Have you ever seen
I
it?
thought you were going to say Bridge to Terabithia.
Me too, and I was gonna be like,
Bridge to Terabithia was like
That's like kind of same.
a hardcore sexual awakening for me, but
I love Josh Hutcherson. Maybe that's where I got an affinity for short boys.
Little Manhattan,
I do not have
he's
that.
like maybe 12 in this movie,
Mhm.
and I was 10 watching it, and I watched it with my whole family, And everyone during this whole movie was like, oh my god, he's so cute. I can't believe how cute he is. And I was like, ooh, he is cute.
And you're like, I know what type of cute you're talking about, but I'm talking about a different
I'm talking about a very different kind of cute that's going to disappoint you. You'll
learn about this years later.
Yeah, and if any of my family's watching or listening to this, that's hilarious because that was a very distinct moment in our family watching Little Manhattan for the first time. That's like a family classic for us, and it's a very different classic to me now.
Oh, for sure. I when going over like my list of like male celebrities that made me feel some type of way, they're all like brunette, kind of skinny, like intellectuals that I'm pretty sure everyone else is annoyed by. But there's just something about them where I'm like, I feel like he would assume he's smarter than me, and I would have to prove him wrong. And so, like, yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Stop. Yeah. I'm obsessed.
Him.
Andrew Garfield, I'm obsessed with. I met him, and I was such a bumbling idiot when I met him. Yeah, Andrew Garfield is the love of my life. I saw him twice in this play, but it's fine. Whatever.
I've never really met a celebrity, but yeah, no, back to superhero movies. Yes. That's the extent.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have Tobey Maguire in it, I don't want to see it.
Guys, I cried like 7 times this weekend, and I don't even know why.
I haven't cried since middle school. It's fine. I'm fine. That's not true. My grandma died once.
I don't know. I just laughed at that.
I didn't cry when my grandma died.
It's because of the delivery.
It was the delivery, not.
It was the delivery.
I mentioned how my mom sent me an email, right?
When your grandma died?
Podcast? Yeah, I was in an economics class in high school, AP Econ. We were in the middle class. My mom was like sending me an email being like, update on your grandmother.
She is dead.
Essentially, that was the content of the email.
She is dead.
And then I just sat in my chair and was kind of just like numb for like 30 minutes. And then I was like, okay, I have to go to musical rehearsal. We're learning the chorus to Oklahoma today. I can't skip that.
I was... Planes. Down the plains.
Down the plains. I was obviously not in it to win it with Oklahoma.
Not that day you were.
That scene in When Harry Met Sally when they're doing karaoke and they sing...
I've actually never seen that movie.
What?
I saw that movie. Okay. I watched Harry Met Sally. I worked at a nursing home.
Okay.
And the day where they were like, we think you're doing a really good job. We're going to put you in, like, the mega Alzheimer's unit today. So I watched When Harry Met Sally with all these people who had very advanced Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And, like, every 3 seconds, there was this one patient who would just start screaming.
No. Oh, my God.
For no reason. She would just, like, ah! And then just go back to a normal face. And, like... I don't remember anything about the movie. I just remember
the screen
that.
More on that later.
We're gonna watch this episode.
We're gonna watch part of this episode now.
Yes. All right. Well. Let's go. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
We're back.
Hi everyone, we're back. We're like 6 minutes into the episode.
And Amanda's still here.
I'm still
She
here.
hasn't been bored away yet.
Wow.
Even though we're pretty boring people. But
we are pretty boring people. That's why we have a podcast. That's why YouTube gave us a podcast personally.
Yep, not SoundCloud.
Not SoundCloud.
I think some of the most interesting people in the world have podcasts.
Like us.
Karen
and
and Georgia Hardstark.
I tried to go
and
see my
Aaron Mankey.
Which one's that from?
Lore.
I know a girl named Erin Minkow.
Different person.
Yeah, very different person.
I tried to see My Favorite Murder live show, and then it got sold out in like 2 seconds.
We're going at some point.
Because we're not in the fan cult. All the tickets go to people in the fan cults. And I'm like, sorry that I live my life.
That's classist.
And I'm not obsessed with, like, I don't know. I don't have to be a part of a fan cult to appreciate your podcast.
Here's the thing
no
is that
No hate. Let's
no hate.
No hate on My Favorite Murder because I do love
him. I do love him. I'm excited for their book. It's coming on my birthday.
I don't think I've ever listened to My Favorite Murder.
It's so fun.
Oh, you have to.
You'd like them. Fun and cute. And we're very #real. Anyways, what do we think of this episode, everyone, so far?
I think it's fun.
I'm loving it. It's like the tacky Bachelor.
I think that the girls are finally starting to find their place. In Arkansas, it starts out, they're in a beauty salon, and they're talking about their perfect men.
Their ideal man.
Their ideal man.
Like? What's my ideal man? Smart and mean.
Wow. That got real.
Yeah, no, most of the men I date are, like, really intelligent, with the exception of a choice few. No, but
I
usually...
have no idea who you're talking about.
No. We're done calling people out.
I know. We're not name dropping anymore, everyone. We've learned our lesson.
But no, like, the majority of the men I've dated have been very intelligent and kind of, like, full of themselves, and usually at some point in the relationship make me feel really bad about myself, and I love it.
We love when a guy is nice to me. I'm like,
Ew.
What's wrong with you? Why? Like when the guys say they like me, I'm like, something's wrong with you.
That's a joke, though, y'all. I'm not that. I'm not masochistic. I just don't know how to be treated correctly. Anyway.
Listen, I would step in and tell these women to love themselves, but that's sexist. So, like, who am I as a man to tell a woman to love themselves?
I don't need you to mansplain
exactly.
self-esteem to me, Gabby.
Also, my type is definitely, like, smart and hates me, too. So
yeah, I think that's all of our types. Someone, if they're really liberal, I'm like, yes.
Oh, for sure.
If you like Bernie, I'm like, yes.
Feel that burn.
Yeah.
But Molly and I have different physical types.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like skinny boys. Do you not like skinny boys?
I like...
Louder.
Sorry. I don't know.
Maybe sometimes, maybe it's like a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Where it, like, crosses over. Because I think we both like tall, brunette boys.
I like boyish-looking guys, though.
But I like mannish-looking guys.
Like, I like guys that... Because I feel like I look really young. Like, I look 2 years younger than I am, I think. So then I like guys that also look kind of boyish because I don't think it's intimidating. And when guys look really mannish, I get intimidated by that. And so then I get, like, afraid. And I'm like,
no, I like guys to look like men because I'm 22.
Guys, I'm not saying this because I'm creepy. It's just like,
no.
I don't know.
I didn't mean for that to
No, I
come
know
out
what it means. I know what it means.
I need a man who can keep up with me. And I need a man...
with Gavi's high-powered lifestyle.
I'm just
with
imagining
my high-powered
you, like,
lifestyle.
power walking somewhere and you turn back to your partner and you're like, keep up!
I need a man.
You throw your bag behind you and he catches it.
Okay. Physically, maybe not. But mentally, I use a lot of references. I very quick at the jaw, very flappy at the mouth. That's a Gia Gunn reference right there.
Okay.
So I need a man who can keep up with me on that end, and also somebody who surprised me isn't going to bore me. Yeah. Because there's so many fucking boring people out there.
Exactly. I want somebody to understand my obscure television references. That's actually very important to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's very true.
Yeah.
Someone who you can just, like, shout out a vine to, and they'll be like,
if I'm quoting Portlandia and you're giving me nothing back, it's not going to work.
Also, someone who's not, like, gonna get offended easily by, like, my jokes or, like, by me being kind of, like, bitchy and mean, but, like, in a funny way. I don't know, I feel like guys sometimes get offended by that, but, like... Just,
they get offended because they see a woman making a joke and having a powerful moment where they're not asking permission. And, that's horseshit. That needs to end.
I think men are intimidated by my mental health issues.
Yeah, I think men, like, look at stuff like that and they're like, bruh, like, it's so complicated, I can't do it, like, oh my god, like, then they just go for some other random girl who's just like, la-di-da. But, like, who wants that? We are complex people. Anyway, so Paris and Nicole right now are describing their types of guys. Paris says that she likes pretty boys, right? Like,
Paris
modelly, like, surfer
Paris
kind
wants
of
the
guys.
whole package. Paris is like, I want him to be good-looking, smart, funny, nice, honest. I'm like, you are going to have to narrow this down a bit because we're talking about straight men.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Do we exist anymore? Like, are we friends with any straight men? Me and Gabi were trying to figure this out recently.
Yes.
Everyone's kind of shifting towards bisexual, pansexual.
I'm friends
straight
with
men
straight
don't really exist. I don't know. Everyone wants to try. You know.
I'm friends with some straight men.
I mean, I know they exist. I'm just not really friends with them.
Okay, that's fair.
I have one straight male friend. That's David Steinberg. David, if you're listening to this, I love you, and I love you, Shoshana, David's girlfriend. I love her more than I love David. I'm only saying that because I know he's not listening.
Anyways, so Paris really likes, like, pretty boys, like, model-y types, which I get it, like, she's from LA, so, like, that's the kind of guy that she's grown up with.
When Amanda did an impression of Paris, I just don't think she did it justice. Paris gives nothing to the camera. They're like, so you like pretty boys? She's like, yeah. So you like tall, skinny? Yeah.
I don't like skinny, she just likes, like...
It's not exactly what she said, but that was, like, the gist of, like...
standard of beauty is, like, what Paris wants. Like, she just wants a very basic, vanilla kind of
Brad
guy.
Pitt.
Yeah. Brad Pitt, Ryan Gosling type of guy. Yeah.
So,
Nicole, on the other hand...
Nicole's like, I like my men to look sick, and, what else did she say?
She said pale
and skinny and sick.
Basically,
like Macaulay Culkin type.
Yeah.
Like a man who's in a 9 Inch Nails cover band.
A man who, like, really got into those 90s, like...
We had this short moment. Yeah, we had this short moment with Janet where she was like, have you ever brought a boy home? And what did your dad do? She's like, oh yeah, I bring boys home all the time. Yeah, my dad just cries. Which is really funny because you forget that her dad is Lionel Richie. Like, who's really involved with emotions and, very connected.
I think I can relate to this. So, Nicole's dad cries when she brings home, like, the skinny, pale-looking men. My brother is currently dating a woman who I guess mainstream America would classify as a goth.
Oh, wait, yeah, you told me
and
this.
She has, like, piercings and, like her hair is, like, dark and black. She's cool, but my mom...
She's got that splat.
My mom is not here for it, y'all. My mom is 5 feet tall and from Cartersville, Georgia, and thinks the Bible is the best book ever written. And she, like, literally cannot stand this girl, and, like, it has become her recent mission to, like...
break them up.
Yes. Like, I was on the phone with her yesterday, and, like, we weren't even talking about her, and she was like, wow, your brother's still joined at the hip with his girlfriend. I don't know what to do about it. And I was like, cool. So, I mean, like, Lionel Richie, hit my mom up. You guys can talk about your shared disgust for your children's partners.
Yeah. My parents and I don't really talk about boys. Sometimes my dad is like, my dad, when I went to Greece, my dad was like, oh, don't get too enthralled with those Greek. And then parentheses, he put life, boys. And I was like, stop this. My dad always thinks that I'm so popular with the frats. And I'm like, Father, little do you know.
Father.
The frats are not the place to be.
My parents attracting frat boys. She's attracting what we like to call Elon scrubs.
Elon dumpster trash.
It's what I'm attracting to, so no judgment, but...
It's really...
My parents couldn't care less what I bring home as long as they're Jewish.
Can you bring me home? I'm Jewish.
Not by their standards, which is...
Not Jewish enough.
I feel like they would take 2 years to get used to you, and then... You know what? No, you're a woman. If I brought you home my best, they'd be really happy. I'd be like, she's a 19% Jewess. Jewess. And then they'd be like, perfect. She's got a vagina. Excellent.
Is she Jew-ish?
Is she Jew-ish?
Get it?
I feel like my parents would be like, okay, like, what's your GPA? Like, do you have a master's degree? What are your educational backgrounds? Like, that's their type of standards. It's like, if you're not top of your class, my parents do not fuck with you.
My mom would be like, do you believe in Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior?
Whenever people ask me that, whenever people ask you that, I'm just like, I believe he was a really great guy. He existed for sure.
To a religion.
I know.
I'm just making fun of my mother and her outdated views.
So anyway, now Paris and Nicole like have gone through all describing the boys that they like, and now they're working at a gas station, which is like a new change of scene for them again. Hey. Hello.
Hi.
How's everyone?
Amanda's roommates just walked in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast.
Anyways, so now they're working at this gas station, and it's, pretty popular with the men of the town. So, they're having a great time.
I think you're missing the point where they talk to the guy who's in charge, and he's like, you're 2 hours late. And they're like, They were like, but we had to put on our costumes.
Yeah, they were making our outfits, which I honestly, my biggest
outfits?
question is, what do you mean by that? Did you sew those, or
did you stone those tights?
That looks like they didn't put a lot of effort into those outfits.
Yeah, I don't think they actually made them.
I'm very confused.
Who knows?
Anyways, so they're at this gas station working, and they are socializing with all the men of the town.
Their job is to pump gas and clean car windshields.
Except Nicole has never touched a car in her life. So
yeah, Nicole doesn't have a driver's license.
Can relate.
Same.
So right now,
Molly and I don't have our driver's licenses.
Yeah. I do, so I guess I am the Paris right now.
Gavi, why don't you drive us around?
Because I don't have a car.
Get a zip car.
I'm sorry.
You can rent a zip car.
So anyways, the fashion moments that take place right now, both of them are in these weird fringy outfits.
Like
Nicole is wearing a white coat, which if you're cleaning something that has dirt on it, don't wear white. Looks like it could be leather. Who knows? Or suede. Who knows?
Kind of looks suedey. Then they're meeting all these boys, and apparently every boy in this town is 17. They're only associating with the hottest 17-year-olds in this town.
Yeah, I feel like this episode is slightly predatory. I don't know how old Nicole and Paris are.
They're
21, 22.
Okay, so yes, they are talking to straight up 17, 18-year-old boys, high school boys. And I just feel like maybe they should be aiming for a slightly higher age demographic.
Yeah. I mean, hey, they have this guy right here.
They do talk to the old man.
There's an 85-year-old that they really get down with.
But here's the thing, is they're doing a really good job at this job.
They are.
They returned for day 2, day 3, day 4.
They didn't get fired on the first day.
They didn't get fired on the first day, which
revolutionary.
Wow. Claps for them. Don't actually clap. That will make the mic go crazy. But
so yeah. Oh,
for them.
What is this shirt, guys? This is such an ugly shirt.
It's very 2000s.
Also, what is this fur?
The fur coat really has me intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
They keep on hitting on these different boys, and they end up picking up 2 boys in particular. What are their names? Does it even matter? This guy's name is Buffy.
But
as in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
They just call one guy
Chops.
They call one guy Chops because he has really nice teeth.
Look at his hair, though.
She never learns his name. That is like a haircut from Disney Channel in the mid-2000s.
Like the early
It really is. He could be on Disney Channel.
He could be on Disney Channel. Maybe he is.
You know what? Maybe production found him in LA and they casted him to play this part. I would not be surprised.
They were like, can you wear sandals and socks and can you go to Arkansas?
He was like, your job is a job, man. I need to stop doing these Colgate commercials, so.
So, Nicole goes, if as many hot guys come in today as, or every day as I did today, then I love this job.
Which is funny because I don't find any of those men particularly attractive.
They're very attractive for the 2000s, I think.
This made me feel better about how I've been doing recently.
Actually, yeah, it's very true.
But if you think about it, Nicole specifically says she doesn't like hot guys, so it makes sense.
It does, but then Paris said she does like hot guys, and they're pretty much hitting on the same people.
I mean, Chops, I guess, is very clean cut. I could see Paris liking him.
I think deep down, this really hits a nerve on our perception of beauty and attractiveness in America.
I know.
So, we end our first segment with a little montage of the girls going to work every day.
Never happened before.
Yeah.
It's an adorable montage. It's something you'd see in a Kate Hudson movie.
And it's funny because it switches off between... It switches off between the girls going to work and the family picking up the girls' chores for them. Yeah. Because the girls still haven't figured out. Chores.
And they're going on dates.
Yeah, they're filling their time.
Dates.
Yeah, and they're going on dates with all the clientele.
I went on some awful dates over the summer, y'all.
I went on a date a couple days ago.
You got
more on that when we get back.
I did get free tangent. It was wonderful.
Okay. We're going to get back. All right.
Look at those hats, guys. Everyone wears baseball caps.
2000 was wild. All right. We're going to watch more and we'll be back.
See y'all. She just got off of work, so she's probably at home. Okay, anyways.
We're recording. We had to take 2 takes to do this because there was a fire truck.
And then my roommate called and my phone went off. Even my phone's on silent. That doesn't make
There's
sense.
been many noisy distractions.
Yes. Wait, do you want to play it from silent?
Yeah,
clip?
We're playing the clip on silent.
So we can jog our memories about what just happened. Mm-hmm. What is Paris's hair in this segment? Girlfriend,
She looks like she just showered in the one bathroom they have.
She looks like me in the morning. When I wake up, that's what my hair looks like. It's all over the place.
Yeah, she looks like the one wig that I ordered from Wish.
Oh my god!
Wow. If you don't know what Wish is, it's an app that you order stuff from China, so it's super cheap.
$2.
For $2. It's super cheap, but nothing looks like the pictures.
Little children made that wig for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Labor.
But that wig had excellent stitching. All those little fingers, top notch.
Oh my god! That is so terrible.
Just kidding. That wig gave me hives because it was made out of really cheap plastic.
So during this segment, Janet is telling the girls how they can't see the boys as much anymore because people are. Okay, so during this segment, Janet is telling the girls that they can't talk to the boys as much anymore because it's getting around town that the girls are corrupting these boys.
Well, and apparently they've promised multiple men that they can come back to LA with them, which we know is a hollow promise.
Listen, I get where Janet is coming from, and I approve of her sitting the girls down and being like, you can't make these hollow promises because you're going to go back to your life, and these boys are simply not going to come with you.
That's me whenever I tell everybody that they can come with me through my Friday night plans, and then Friday night comes and I'm doing who God knows what, and everyone's like, what, Molly? And I'm like, oh, sorry. Anyways,
Janet is just like, these boys are breaking up with their girlfriends because they think they're going to move to LA. Ooh. So if you break up with your girlfriend, if you break up with your girlfriend and think that you're just gonna move your life to LA because a superstar made you a promise, you aren't gonna make it in the biz.
Sorry,
you're
baby.
Not.
I mean, it just shows how ruthless these guys are willing to break up with people just for their careers. I'm about it. They are cutthroat. What are you doing?
They are cutthroat. I left my headphones on across the way and realized that they were still blinking.
Okay, we're still
recording. I'm back.
Right? Okay, yeah. So then they're like, "Thank you, Janet. You make some great points."
And then it cuts directly to them making out with boys.
And let's talk about how each of them addresses their boy.
Yes, because they talk to these men very differently. we've got Paris in one corner.
Chops.
She's talking to Chops, boy with good teeth.
I realize now that he doesn't have a real name because they couldn't legally be like.
I think she said Trey. She said Trey.
Okay, that's fair.
But she's sitting there with him, and she's got this little baby voice, and she's just talking to him if you're 10 and writing in your diary, she's like, I never thought I would meet someone.
Louder.
But that's how she sets the volume.
But you need to lean in if you're going to do that baby voice then.
Sorry.
She's like, I never thought I would meet someone like you. And he's like, thank you. I didn't think so either. And then
they're so boring.
They're like, you're really special.
Yeah.
I thought you were a snotty, stuck-up bitch, but it turns out you're not.
I was wrong.
And then cut to Nicole, and Nicole is just like, wait, what did she say? I want to play her clip. Can we play her clip?
Yeah, let's play the clip because it's better that way.
Nicole and her one-liners, man, is so good.
Give me a second.
Yeah,
let's get to Nicole.
All Paris boring. Wait,
this is Paris' show.
This is Paris' show.
Here we go.
Yeah. Wait.
Turn
it up.
You can move to New York and become a model. Sake.
This is Nicole.
You smell like onions.
That's what
that was after she.
Yeah.
So this is before when Nicole is
hanging out with you two. I mean, there's not many girls around here that I know of at all as crazy and outspoken as you.
You're a hot bitch.
She just goes, "You're a hot bitch," and jumps on that.
That's the energy I want to have.
She just starts kissing him after that.
It's truly inspirational.
I'm inspired watching Nicole. I want to have this energy.
I think she has a great personality.
Mm-hmm. She really is the personality of this show. Paris may be the face, but she is the whatever.
The
Voice.
So here's the thing. They didn't have a choice with Paris. I feel like this was always going to be Paris' show. And then they were like, okay, but now we can do casting calls for Paris' partner in crime.
Yeah.
It was originally going to be Paris' sister, but Paris' sister was like, I don't need this show. I'm rich and I live in LA. Why the hell would I move to Arkansas?
I mean,
which is a fair point.
Valid.
Yeah. So they really did their homework with Nicole Richie. They really did. And she brings so much to the show. And I don't think it would have more than one season if she wasn't on it.
No.
I agree.
The juxtaposition between both of them being like, also, I think That's Hot is way more Nicole's line than it is Paris's.
Yeah, which is so
She
weird.
says it all the time, and the fans just kind of associated it with Paris.
Just because the show I associate more with Paris in general, just because I think it's been advertised as Paris.
Also, I think the line "That's Hot" didn't come about until around season 2, maybe the end of season 1. Because we're in episode 6, and it's just still not happened.
I have not heard
That's Hot.
a whispering of That's Hot.
Yeah.
I mean,
come on, man.
every once in a while...
You're hot.
yeah, every once in a while, Nicole will be like, "You're hot. These men are hot. I love this hot, blah, 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 blah." And then that kind of translated into the show, having the line, "That's hot," associated with everything.
Yeah. So now we're back at the house, and Albert is raging because he's, like, mad that the girls are spending time with boys and not with the family.
Albert is, like, walking...
Yeah, he seems to be, like, jealous that they're not paying attention to, like, the family, but it's also, like, they're 2022, like, they shouldn't be devoting their lives to you guys.
You cannot be a controlling father to people who are not even part of your family.
Let's talk through this, shall we? So he gets an email, or whatever the 2003 Arkansas equivalent to an email is back then, where they're like, okay, we're going to have a TV show where we send Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton to your house.
It was
and they're
delivered by pigeon.
It was delivered by pigeon. We're going to send them to your hometown. They're going to do odd job to get fired every once in a while, just for ratings. And he was like, oh, this is going to be an excellent example to add people to my family and have them do chores around the house.
He's like, I can't wait to parent more.
I can't wait to parent more.
He's like, God gave me this opportunity.
God gave me a gift to be a strict parent, and I want to do it as much as I can.
He was like, maybe I'll find some nice wives for my sons. Like,
I will find a God-loving wife for my husband.
Looking at that from that perspective, I think we can all agree this is definitely production has a heavy hand in this.
Yeah, I'm sure.
100%.
It's just annoying to watch. As,
yeah,
like,
it's so annoying to watch.
A strong woman that I just like don't like the way that he's treating them in this situation.
Yeah, so Janet had her approach where she sat them down and was like, "You can't just promise these boys fame and money."
Yeah.
And we agreed with that. But then Albert has his approach where he's like,
Daddy
"Okay,
Albert
so."
comes in.
Yeah, Daddy Albert comes in. He's just like, all right, so as a family, we're just not going to leave the house this weekend.
He brings in the swift hammer of justice and says no.
But it's like, what? You're just going to expect the girls to sit at home and, like, chill
Which
with you?
also,
in their
let's
enclosed
remember
porch.
that they're 21 and 22. Like, we are 21 and 22. Imagine if anyone told you what to do at this point. Like, if my mom was like, Amanda, you cannot leave the house, I would just open the door and simply walk out because, no.
I would, yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, valid.
I think from the age of 16 on, you have to have a really good reason as to why.
Yeah, because, like, if you just say it, then, like, I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to care.
Yeah.
Because I just think what you're saying is not real and not relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this whole conversation with him. The music gets all intense, and the filming style gets very, like, jittery.
Yeah, I commented on it. I was like, what the hell is this filming style?
They're really trying to dramatize the situation, which is, like, not fun. But, oh, well.
It got intense.
I know.
And the girls are confused and angry. They're like, what are you going to do? Keep us here? And Albert just keeps saying, this is my house. These are my rules. Which, yeah, I get he's never faced this situation before because he only has sons. But at the same time, they're 21 and 22. They're famous. You can't just keep them in your house and be like, you're going to sit here and you're going to do chores.
Yeah, he's very much comparing them to his sons. And his sons are, like, 7 years younger than them. So
yeah,
you
and
can't compare that.
they were like, would you do this to your sons?
Well, and they're, like, little diligent, like, Southern boys. Like, you cannot compare them to Paris and Nicole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
different
that
upbringing.
Situation. So,
Anti-feminist, really.
There's a lot of anti-feminism in this whole episode, which I do not like. I like that Paris and Nicole are having fun with these boys because they deserve to have fun. And,
they do deserve to have fun.
As Cindy
they
Walker
work too much.
once said, girls just want to have fun.
Anyways, we should play the video clip again. We're still recording, right?
Yeah, the girls decide they're just going to go to work instead, and Paris gives this long, drawn-out speech about gas stations in Arkansas as if she's learned something.
She's really learned about a centerpiece of
a gas station.
Culture.
Yeah.
People get their food here. They get their clothes here.
Where are the clothes? I don't
it's
see
really
the clothes.
just the place to go. The clientele who goes to Lakeside definitely get their clothes at that gas station.
I love it.
Also, Elon, we all get our food from Circle K. Don't tell me you don't.
That's true.
I get my clothes from Circle K.
Only the finest apparel for my closet.
Meanwhile, Janet is at home trying to contact the girls because she doesn't know where they are, but she does.
She calls, this is all production. Calls, and then they all talk to her, blah, 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 blah. Was that Janet?
And she tells her, Paris gets on the phone. She's like, we'll be home in half an hour. An hour and a half later, they are not home. And that's where we stopped watching.
Yes, we're going to finish this episode and then give our last 2 cents before we leave. Goodbye, friends.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay, so this episode gets really boring, but then it gets more interesting.
It does. So why does it get boring, Dobby?
It gets boring because Albert really lays down the laws on the girls.
In such a boring,
kind of misogynistic way.
Annoying way.
He's like, these are my rules, this is my house, no arguments.
They have this whole problem in the kitchen. The girls are doing dishes, and they're like, we're going to go to the mall with our friends at noon.
Should not be a problem.
And then Albert comes back and is like, okay, well, Janet said that she can take you guys to the mall at noon. And then they're like, well, we already have these plans with our friends. And there's this whole tension-filled back and forth, and it's just so uncomfortable to be watching. I feel like my own life where I've had these problems with my parents come up, where I feel like there's been all this tension or miscommunication, and it was just not fun to watch.
I feel very oppressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean... have you ever had moments like this where you were like, have you ever had moments like this where you're like, I'm an adult, why, ...
Yeah.
Like what?
That's definitely what they're experiencing right now.
Just like when I hang out with my dad sometimes, it's like, he'll expect us to go do all these activities together, but I'm an adult and I already have all these plans, and then he expects me to tell him every single thing and every person that I ever hang out with whenever I'm at his house. And it's just like, dude, I'm an adult. Don't. Just stop. And so then sometimes I'll just leave. And then he expects me to just, I don't know. He's very overwhelming, but it's fine.
When I was a camp counselor, when I was a CIT, actually.
Yeah.
I was 16 years old, I was 17, and we had to take buddies to the bathroom. Like,
what?
Yeah, we had to take buddies to the bathroom, and one time I, confronted my camp counselor about it because he ran into me, and I was like, I didn't have my buddy. And he was like, why don't you have a buddy? I was like, I am trusted by the United States government to drive a car and not kill people in the streets. But I can't go to the bathroom by myself. He's like, well, these are my rules, and this is my house, and blah, 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 and I'm Albert.
Well, also, when I was in high school, it was literally boarding school, they would turn off our Wi-Fi at 11 p.m. because they had all this control over us. And then we also, when I was a senior, we had curfew at midnight for the seniors in high school, and it was so ridiculous. They would not let you have any fun. Anyways, it was
on the weekends. Did you have curfew?
Yeah, at midnight was our curfew on the weekends.
What?
For seniors, for juniors.
We've covered this so many times.
Just one time we covered it.
Dude, we sure did.
Just one other time I mentioned it. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not here for the rules, so I'm on Paris and Nicole's side because they are strong, independent women. And then Albert's like, there's a lot of housework to do. You can help Janet. And I'm like, why don't the boys help Janet? Mm-hmm. Why are you expecting these girls to help
Well, because they haven't done anything so far. Also, production is definitely trying to create tension between the two.
Yeah.
Because it's something that has been building, and hasn't erupted yet. And, like, we can see it every time that we see Albert. We're like, he's angry about this, but he's just not talking about his feelings because he's a man.
Yeah. I agree.
100%.
Yeah, and Nicole's just, Paris has just had enough. She's like, this is crazy. We're going to go out. We're going to do what we want. Because we're 21.
They go out.
They go out to a bar and they get messy.
They get so messy.
They pick up Chomps. They pick up the other one who nobody cares about. Anthony. Blue shirt, formerly known as.
That ugly ass blue shirt. It's like a tie-dye blue. So awful.
It's true. Did I click back?
Yeah, I think you did.
I sure did.
Click forward.
So they decide they're going to go out to the bar. And they're having fun.
This is really a Polly's kind of bar.
It is. They have this conversation with the guy outside the bar where they're like, we'll give you money if you, what do they do?
I don't
do this dance and sing this song, and then he does it.
Then he does it.
It's very
and like,
anticlimactic.
Yeah,
I've had really drunk moments like that where I've just been like, ah! And then the next thing I'm like, that was really dumb.
Yeah.
And that's definitely this. So you can tell they're really drunk. But what makes it very clear that they're drunk is the meltdown that they have at this bar.
They have a
in their
meltdown.
newsboy caps, no less.
In their newsboy caps. So Nicole gets her purse stolen.
Either stolen, she loses it, she can't
Stolen,
find it.
I'm just going to go out here and have a theory that it is not stolen. I think she misplaced it because she seems very inebriated.
Yeah.
But because she's drunk, like, she's confrontational.
It's true.
100%.
But she goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
She does.
Like, at first she just walks up to Nicole and she's like,
in Paris, yeah.
She's
like,
she's
like, see my purse, and then 5 minutes later she's like, oh, who stole my purse?
And she's throwing stuff all
It's
around
so
this
bad,
bar.
yeah.
Wait, so it starts out, she starts going up to people, she's like, have you seen my purse? Have you seen my purse? She turns to Paris, she goes, my purse was stolen!
Yeah.
And her immediate reaction, I don't think this would be my immediate reaction. She goes to the back of the bar and grabs a bottle full of bleach and just throws it. She's like, you took my purse!
She's screaming.
And nobody's paying attention to her,
people are starting to turn around and look at her.
But, like, that was...
like, half ignoring her, trying to pretend she's not having a meltdown.
It's
but,
like when
Yeah.
you see, like, an animal killing another animal, and you're like, maybe I should just look away.
Yeah.
Like,
it's when somebody at a bar has a rough moment. You want to look, but you want to look out of the corner of your eye.
Couples get into fights at bars. We're seeing the couple getting into a massive fight at a
love
bar.
watching couples get into fights at bars.
Funny.
Do you know why I love it?
Why?
Because somewhere in a deeply cruel part of my heart, it makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah.
When I see a couple
absolutely.
When I see a couple get in a fight at a bar, I'm like, I may be single, but at least I'm not angry with my partner because they forgot to lock the door. Like,
it's so carefree and happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so how does the episode end, Gabi?
So the episode ends, I think Nicole is like, okay, nobody's listening to me, and somebody clearly stole my purse. So she rips off the cap of this bleach, and she pours it all over the pool table in this bar. And then we get a to be continued.
Yes, very dramatic way to end it. We love a meltdown.
We do love a meltdown.
You know, really reflective of our own lives. So
we can't talk about dramatic meltdowns, can we?
No.
Just kidding. I don't have meltdowns ever.
No, I'm perfect.
I'm so perfect. So yeah, that was the episode. Pretty straightforward. Pretty, back and forth with the fam. Some boys stuff, which we all appreciated.
I think it had a great anatomy of a story. There was a rise and fall. Yes. There was a climactic moment. Rising action, falling action. I'm an English teacher, by the way.
I think that this was a really great transition episode. Like,
it was
nothing.
Better than the Dairy Farm episode.
Oh, so much better than the Dairy Farm episode. Nothing really happened, but at the same time, everything that the girls have been working for really clicked into place.
Really?
They found a job that they liked.
They found love.
They found love.
Yeah, they had their love with the family, but I think that was a long time coming.
And at the end of the day, isn't that what life is about?
Yes.
You know,
It
looking
sure
for
is.
love, looking for that career.
You can't see us
resolving
right now.
issues with your family.
You can't see us right now, but we're all holding hands in a circle.
Yes.
Lighting some candles.
Tears are streaming down our faces.
Really
And the
beautiful.
seasons, they go round. Nobody?
How many more episodes are left?
Nobody knows the circle game?
No.
Memories like the colors of my mind.
Well, you never played your song for me.
I'll do that another time.
I think there are about 2 episodes left.
Okay, that's cool.
6, 7, 8, and then there's a 9th episode that is the reunion.
Oh boy.
They
Maybe
bring
I'll come
back
for the
Braxton.
reunion.
Yes, come back
Why
for the
won't Braxton
reunion.
follow us on Instagram?
I don't know.
He
Braxton,
knows that
follow us. You know that we exist.
That's unfortunate.
I know. It's okay. I mean, I've been there before, but it's fine.
I just really like it when people ignore me.
Me too. It makes me want them more.
It gets me off.
For those of you who didn't believe I have great comedic timing, I hope that this podcast has proven you wrong.
Also, sorry that we're like sluggishly talking right now. It's like 4 p.m. and that bag of burritos really hit me.
I did not partake in eating that. I just want the world to
Also,
know.
the caramel latte I drank were also really hit me, so I'm like, bleh. That's all. Anyways,
All right.
Anything else to talk about?
I don't think so.
Keep it simple.
No, keep it tight, keep it simple.
Right.
Keep it tight.
Keep it simple. Goodbye,
All right, bye,
simpletons.
Adios.